Alright guys, today I'll be ranking every coaster at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York. This will include both Dino's Wonder Wheel Park and of course the main Luna Park. They are two separate gates. You have to get tickets for each of them. You can't just ride Phoenix and then ride Cyclone. But I am including them because if you do one, you're probably going to do the other, quite frankly. So let's get started with this list with one of the smallest coasters you'll ever find, and that is Skyflyer at Dino's. This thing is absolutely tiny. This is just a credit and forget it, although it's pretty hard to forget it given how small it actually is. There's no forces, it's very basic, about as basic as a kiddie coaster can get. Moving on. The next one is also an extremely small ride. This is Minnie Mouse. This is in the main Luna Park, and it's by far their weakest coaster. You just go around these hairpin turns extremely slowly with little bumps in between that do not give airtime. Do not even think about that on this ride. No forces to be offered here. It's just a little longer than Skyflyer, which is why I have it over it. But these two are quite literally the two worst coasters I've ever been on. They are that forceless and dumb. Coming in at number 9 is a better kiddie coaster. This is Sea Serpent at Dino's Wonder Wheel Park. This one's actually pretty good. You get a little bit of laterals here. You'll get thrown forward a bit if you're not holding on. It's nothing too crazy, but it's actually a decent kiddie coaster. Coming in at number 8 is Tony's Express. This one does absolutely nothing. It looks like a fun family mine train by Zamperla, but of course it doesn't actually do anything on ride. It's very forceless, just a nice scenic tour. Coming in at number 7 is Circus Coaster, and I know a lot of people might think this seems high, given that it's over Tony's, but I actually think this one's pretty fun. You get a few good moments of laterals here, no airtime, no positives, but that's to be expected. It's a kiddie coaster. Coming in at number 6 is Tickler. This one's just downright creepy. I don't even know what else to say. It's a very weak Wild Mouse. There's very weak laterals. The spinning is definitely very slow. You do not get going on this thing at all. It's not a very good ride. It's definitely a credit and forget it here. Coming in at number 5 is Soaring Eagle. Now, I know a lot of people really hate the Zamperla Volars, but honestly, they just kind of suck. They don't really hurt me that much. They're just not good rides. I don't completely despise them like most people do, but I definitely recognize that they're very flawed rides. I don't think they really give too many forces. I know some say the hang time's really good, or the laterals are alright. I just think they're kind of non-existent, honestly. The hang time's okay, but that being said, it's almost like it's flipping me into the position where I'd want to fall asleep, which kind of sucks because I want to actually be entertained on a coaster. The rest of the ride is just kind of meandery and doesn't do anything for me. I know a lot of people get some really bad head banging and just a lot of pain in general on these Volars, but I honestly think this one doesn't really deliver too much pain. Especially if you hold on, I don't see how you could really feel any pain on this one. I know it's a little janky, but I don't think it's janky enough to really hurt you, because if it was, I would be praising this thing for being an intense ride. Coming in at number 4 is Steeplechase. This is a basic Zamperla Moto coaster. It's nothing special. The flywheel launch at the start is pretty fun. It's pretty forceful, but other than that, it's a pretty weak ride. You got some meandery sections that don't really give airtime or laterals, and then there's one little moment of airtime in the front at the end, but even that's kind of weak. It's just a pretty forgettable ride, you know? Coming in at number 3 is Phoenix at Dino's. This one's actually really fun. We're getting into some actually good rides now. This one is a solid 6 out of 10. You got some okay moments of positives here and there, nothing too special, but it's a family coaster. You've got really good restraints. It's butter smooth, which I know is a positive for most people. I'm not exactly a big fan of that, but whatever. You got some really good near misses, some laterals, a couple moments of very weak airtime. I mean, it's barely anything, but I felt myself somewhat lift off the seat. It's overall just a very enjoyable ride experience that everyone should try to get around to. Coming in at number 2 is Thunderbolt. This one is interesting. I've got very mixed opinions on this. I definitely do not like the restraints. I'll say that right away. This thing does not need those collars over your shoulders. It absolutely should just have lap bars. But I think this layout's actually pretty decent. The first drop gives ejector. Not quite on par with some coasters like Tantrum or Rock Bottom Plunge, but it's solid, you know? And then you've got a couple aggressive moments of airtime. I'd say they're ejector, personally. They're definitely weak ejector, but they're ejector. The inversions are okay. They feel very floaty, kind of meandery, but this is actually a pretty underrated layout. I'd say Zamperla should try to sell even more of these if they can get rid of those comfort collars. And coming in at number 1 by an absolute landslide is the Cyclone. I mean, it's a top 25 coaster for me. It's got some frightening ejector airtime in some spots. It's got some of the best laterals on any coaster I've ever done. It's just one of the all-time greats. So that is how I rank every coaster at Coney Island. Let me know what you guys thought of this list down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.